What is up, guys? It is Gospel here again for another profession overview, this time on the healers for the combat upgrade. Now, really, there are only two healing classes, Doctor and Combat Medic, not including Jedi, of course, but I'm not going to really make a Jedi class guide until, I don't know, maybe sometime when people are unlocking and I can get on a test server or something back then, in the future sometime. Anyways, so before I continue on, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts, and check out my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/gospelgospel, link down below. I'll also be leaving a link to the SWG Restoration download, as well as a link to the Restoration Discord. And as this week has had a theme of, I want to remind everyone that there is a stress test coming on April 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, sorry, got my thoughts all mixed up there. I was really ready to just talk about healing classes. So first, I'll start with Doctor and the requirements for that. Now, I know I talked about skill point requirements, and I know some of the people, when they first see the skill points in CU, they're like, oh my god, this is crazy. But as you can see, they've modified Doctor requirements. It only requires the first and third trees, medical augmentation 4 and medical support 4 for Doctor. In pre-CU, you had to actually master medic. That is no longer the case. You just have to get 2 trees in medic to get to Doctor, which is cool. I think it's nice. Doctors get access to battle armor. Actually, both healer classes do. They have their armor is battle armor. That is what they're certified for. Yeah. So Doctor gets 3 different heals. We'll go over the heals first. They get advanced back to shot, back to jab, and back to infusion. Now, back to jab and back to shot, not much of a difference between those two in terms of they just do what they're supposed to do. I think back to shot might actually heal for more. But back to infusion is actually a little buff you can put on yourself. You can see it over here. And it gives you like 30 seconds of, how often does this tick? Every 5 seconds it'll heal you for a certain amount, depending on your, let's see what the stat is here. Let's go down to Doctor. Where's Doctor at? Depending on your healing efficiency, it'll keep healing you for a certain amount every single tick. Doctor also gets access to bandage and access to countertoxin. And one thing I forgot to mention is Doctor also gets extinguish fire, which allows them to put out fire dots. Just want to let y'all know real quick. And what is this one over here? Disinfect. So bandage is to cure bleeds, countertoxin to cure poison, and then disinfect to cure diseases, as well as they get countertoxin spray at master, which gives them an AoE poison cure. Nothing that I've seen poisons in an AoE during the CU, but maybe that'll change. I don't know, maybe they'll add some gear or something for combat medics. I'm not sure, but combat medics can't AoE poison at the moment, so, and they weren't able to in live CU either. Also, they get decontaminate, which is AoE disease cure. They also get stabilizers, which has a chance to remove a state from yourself, which some of those states are pretty nasty. I don't think it's necessarily debuffs, it's just states, unless I haven't tested it, but I'm just going to trust to remove states. If it removes debuffs, that'd be even better. At Master, they also get the ability to revive player, which is nice. I mean, obviously, you want to resurrect some people from the dead. As well as they get wound healing, obviously. This is actually one of the big changes from pre-CU to CU, is Doctors have the ability to actually heal wounds. So that is a biggin. Doctors get a few buffs. They get Adrenal Boost, which is a combat speed buff, plus 25. This is actually a pretty big buff. Your combat speed, your speed with any weapon really, reduces your cooldowns the higher your combat speed is. Makes you faster. So you'll have less cooldown timers. Your cooldown timers will be shorter, with Adrenal Boost. Then you get Nutrient Injection. This gives 10% max health. This is a scaling one that scales off your max health base value. You can see here now I've got 3.3k because 3k is about my my max. And also modify health regen by 10%. But this 10% for the health regen, I think that only comes from the improved version. Then they also get endorphin injection, which modifies action regeneration by 10%. This stacks with food, so if you need, if you're PvPing or PvEing and you need a bunch of action regen because you're spamming a lot of abilities, this is good to have. And then you also get the serotonin injection, which is the same thing as the last one, except it gives you mind regen instead. So this is good for people who have healing in their build. I will say, a really common thing to have as a regular player, even if you're not interested in going Master Doctor, is people grab this first tree in Master Doctor, which gives you a bunch of healing efficiency, and it gives you the back to infusion and the improved back to shot and improved back to jab. So that is nice to have. This is pretty staple in a lot of people's builds. You don't necessarily need it, but it is nice to have. Really nice to have. And I think that's it for the Doctor. Oh, they get these poison, I think, and also disease resist. I have somewhere in the somewhere in my skill list here. Oh, here it is. Improved poison inoculation. They get the poison inoculation and disease inoculation to help resist. They absorb and resist. Absorb is just a straight damage reduction against dots, and resist is like a chance to resist the dot damage, which is nice. Anyways, that's all for Doctor. On to Combat Medic. All right, so Combat Medic. Let's look at the requirements here. Let me drive this over here. They only need the second tree in Medic for Common Medic, and then they also need the fourth tree in Marksman, so range support 4 in Marksman, and then range healing 4 in Medic. Now, Common Medic is kind of like the opposite of Doctor, whereas Doctor can cure disease, poison, and fire, and then also buff people and remove debuffs. Common Medic applies disease, applies fire, and applies poison, and they're actually pretty strong. They're not bad. It's not like pre-CU strong where it's like, one tick, where'd all my mind go, but it is really strong. Also, I've got advanced back to toss, which is a straight up like ranged heal. It's really nice. And then you also have back to spray. Back to spray is nice. It's an AoE heal. I can't use it on myself. Apparently I can't use it on myself though, so that's weird. But anyways, it's an AoE heal, and it's really good and awesome, and you should totally use it. Now we have the debuffs here. Improved Paralyze, or Paralyze in general. It is a mesmerize. Basically, it's like a stun that breaks on damage, and I think it lasts like 12 to 15 seconds, depending. Electrolyte Drain. This is a just a huge move speed slow. So, if you're melee, this might be a good skill for you to have, especially because these are applied in melee range. These abilities are applied in melee range, these debuffs. Although these dots can be done at like 30 or so meters, something like that. Improved Shock. This enhancement to Shock ability is much more powerful and reduce more state resist. So this basically, I don't use this, but it reduces state resists. I don't remember. I haven't really had trouble applying states, so it's been whatever for me. Thyroid Rupture. This one is pretty huge. It says this is an attack speed slow. So before we had the Adrenal Boost, which gives you an attack speed boost. This one is attack speed slow, so it's going to make all your cooldowns, or your opponent's cooldowns, longer, which is good for you. We've got Hemorrhage here. This is an action regen debuff. So maybe if you were to stack this with like Fencer's action regen debuff, maybe someone would start struggling. I'm not sure. Hard to tell. But it is good to slow down your opponent's DPS, especially combined with Thyroid Rupture. Then you've got Traumatize. Now, Traumatize is a mind regen debuff, so it reduces people's mind regen, and that will, you know, be trouble for people who are trying to heal or people who main healer. Now, the thing about Combat Medic and Doctor is, unlike pre-CU, it is totally viable, I think, in my opinion, to main both of them. You'll have access to back to shot, back to jab, the back to infusion, the back to toss, and back to spray, back to healing. And you can master both of them, and there's total skill points for that, and I think you have some points left over. It says I've got 38 here. And you can just, you know, be a dedicated healer. It's not a bad option in my opinion. As well as there are some things Bioengineer can craft for your class, some enhancers, I believe. I think they're mostly for Combat Medic. There might be some for Doctor, I'm not exactly sure, but the enhancers I know for Combat Medic are to enhance the dot damage of these. But don't worry, it doesn't get crazy. It's just, you know, reasonable, okay? It's reasonable damage. It's not insane like pre-CU. Anyway, that's all I had to say today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be coming out with more content soon. I'm going to have to put a pause on the guides for now because the hybrid classes like Bounty Hunter, Commando, all these things, I haven't tested them properly. I think Bounty Hunter works pretty much, but Commando, Ranger, all this other stuff either hasn't been implemented or isn't fully done. So I'm going to have to put a little bit of a halt on it. But I will surely come back and write more profession overviews for those classes that are missing. Anyways, I hope you found it helpful. Hope to see you on SWG Restoration. I look forward to playing the combat upgrade a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. And so I shall catch you all later. Have a good day. Peace.